பட போச்சே.
ஹாய்டா.
Hi, welcome to another episode of Vada Poche.
I thought Yuva will keep on ரெக்கார்ட் பண்ண ஆரம்பிச்சிட்டீங்களா?
குட் கொஸ்டின். நான் வந்து சைலண்டா இருந்தேன் ஏன்னா ஐ டோன்ட் எவ்ரிபடி டு டாக் அட் தி சேம் டைம், சோ ஐ ஷட் அப் டா.
Then I think you should shut up for the whole podcast da.
பை.
நோ கமெண்ட்ஸ்.
ஓகே, ஸோ இந்த வாரத்துடைய எபிசோட் முதல் அபிப்பிராயங்கள், ஃபர்ஸ்ட் இம்ப்ரெஷன்ஸ். டூ தே மேட்டர்? ஷுட் வி ஸ்டிக் டு தம்? அதான்டா இந்த எபிசோடோட டாபிக். ஓகே, ஸோ லெட்ஸ் கெட் டு இட் டா. ஷரீஃப், நீ பந்தெல்லாம் பிடிச்சிட்டு இருக்க, அங்கட் போலாம் வேலை இடத்துல விட்டு.
இல்ல, போன வாரம் பாட்காஸ்ட்லயே இது பண்ணியாச்சுடா.
டேய், ரொனால்டினோவா இருந்தா must live with the ball டா.
You are Sunaldinoda. So let's start the question with Sharif. Sharif, do you think it's right to judge people upon first looking at them?
Nothing wrong, because நான் அதுதான் பண்றேன். Yeah.
வெக்கங்கட்ட மூதேவி.
You have to let me explain. Like it's normal to do that because like
What I'm speaking, no cross speaking.
yes, exactly.
Sorryடா. Sorry, please carry on.
இல்ல இது பண்றது இல்ல ஒரு லைக் ஒரு பெரிய தப்பு இல்ல, because you
அதெல்லாம் ஒரு பெரிய தப்பு இல்ல.
பெரிய தப்பு இல்ல. லைக் உண்மையில சொல்றேன், you what you're doing is basically you're just forming a first impression based on your experience with the person on how he or she has their appearance set lah. Like உதாரணத்துக்கு வந்து like you ஒரு பார்ட்டியில பாக்குற, you see this guy dressed very smartly, two-piece suit, the got nice tie and all that, but so what you gonna perceive as the first impression? இவர் ஒரு பேங்கரா இருப்பாங்க, or if you may think that he's like some sort of celebrity or something. So இந்த மாதிரி like innocent impression வச்சுக்கிறதுல is ஒரு தப்பில்லைன்னு தோணுது. Yeah, it's not a big crime lah, but what would be the biggest ஒரு like என்ன தப்புன்னு சொல்லலாம்னா is like you அந்த appearance வச்சு you use it to prejudice the other person. So there's a clear line to which I give my answer lah. Yep. Yuva, உனக்கு?
I'm really confused about the part where you say prejudice. Like, what do you mean by that? Because prejudice is meaning you have a preconceived notion, உனக்கு ஏற்கனவே ஒரு belief இருக்கு, and you're dumping in on people without giving them a chance lah. So are you saying that you're already will you be dumping prejudice based on past experiences onto new people, or will you be on the spot forming some sort of judgment?
I'll form a judgment on that sort lah, but நான் எப்படி அந்த பர்சன் கிட்ட நடக்கிறது வந்து I cannot show any prejudice. புரியுதா இல்லையா? Like okay, let's say you like for example I see someone with a lot of tattoos in his hand, கழுத்து பூரா tattoo. So என்னோட first impression will be okay, this guy maybe gangster, maybe could be tattoo artist. So even though எனக்கு வந்து கேங்ஸ்டர்ஸ் கூட ஒரு நெகட்டிவ் எக்ஸ்பீரியன்ஸ் இருக்கலாம், இருந்திருக்க கூட சம்திங் லைக் தட் வாய்ப்பு இருக்கு. ஸோ அது வச்சு அந்த நெகட்டிவ் எக்ஸ்பீரியன்ஸ் வச்சு ஐ வில் நாட் ப்ரொஜெக்ட் இட் ஆன் டு த பர்சன் ஐ மீட்டிங், பட் ஐ யூஸ் இட் அந்த அவனோட எக்ஸ்பீரியன்ஸ் வச்சு நான் வந்து I'll form aura of caution. Like நான் நடக்கிற விதம் வந்து I'll be quite careful in the way I approach him.
So one of the first judgment one abhiprayam will be more like will help you use your internal compass lah.
Something like that. நீ உன்னோட your life experiences, like for any adult they'll definitely use their life experiences to form a judgment. அதுக்கப்புறம் it's up to them how they want to act towards the person. But if they want to act negatively and protect and like அந்த அவங்களோட prejudice வந்து அந்த they want to like portray the prejudice on that person, right? And that's why it's crossing the line, lah. Other than that, it's fine. It's not a big issue.
Okay, so let me divert the same question to Jauhar now.
Hello, வணக்கம்.
Question என்ன கேட்பான்னு பாரு.
Nama,
டேய்,
never ask
I
you
know
for
டா.
everything.
டேய், question I know டா. I know. என்னைய பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் first impression, I say depends on the situation.
Okay, explain more. What situation or a situation ta? Like ஒரு
Okay.
உதாரணத்துக்கு
For
என்ன
example,
situation ta?
for example, like okay, we know we go to இந்த person வந்து நம்ம like someone, one of your friend வந்து want to introduce this person to you, and you're going to meet that person, but the person happened to be like in a very sticky situation at there, like she's quarreling with someone there. நம்ம அந்த situationல வரல, that would be our first impression. நம்ம போனோனே we will see him or her like scolding the other person or fighting. So அந்த impressionல உனக்கு வந்து டைரக்டா நீ நினைப்ப, oh, this person might be short tempered or hot tempered without us knowing what actually happened, the backstory.
You're formulating your opinion.
Yeah, so that's why I say it depends. So it depends on the scenario, how we meet the person also. But end of the day, I think that first impression doesn't matter, because we cannot be holding on to it to judge the person. You see, like it maralam. As time goes, the situation change, the person also change.
Completely agree டா.
பரத், நீ ஏன் அப்படி சிரிக்கிற பரத்?
இந்த 3 நாய்களையும் நான் பார்த்த வாட்டி நல்ல முச்சோடான ஆண்களா இருக்காங்களே, நல்லா thoughtful பீப்புளா இருப்பாங்களே நினைச்சு ஃபுட்பால் விளையாண்டா, கடைசியில பார்த்தாக்கா ஸ்திரீ idiots-ஆ.
நீ மட்டும் என்ன பெரிய ஒழுங்கு? I am the organizer. I am the organizer.
பரத், ஒரு கேள்வி இருக்கு. Like நான் okay, we first played football together, right? நான் ஃபுட்பால் அந்த ஸ்டைல்ல இருந்து நீ பார்த்த ஒரு first impression தான் based on my football.
அவ்வளவு இல்ல உண்மையை சொல்ல போனாக்கா அவ்வளவு மெமரபிள்லாம் ஒண்ணும் இல்ல. I don't even remember how you played.
அட போய் நான் ஹேட்ரிக்லாம் போட்டேன்டா உன் முன்னால.
கொஞ்ச நேரத்துல சரி வந்து நினைச்சா பாரபுட thought, டேய் இவன் ஜோக்காலானா மேபி லீக்
சத்தியமா எனக்கு ஞாபகம் இல்லடா. I'll give my take on this. So you all asked about first impression, you know, whether is it right or wrong, right? This is, I don't know, என்னோட personality என்னன்னு தெரியல, but I, on a very serious note, I cannot bring myself to judge a person. Like first impression it doesn't work for me, if I make sense. Like,
No, you're not making sense. To imply that you don't make a first impression of people means that you never ever have any impression of people, no?
yes.
Because at one point an impression would have come about, and that would have been your first impression.
Correct.
Okay, and the context la paataka na okay, let me put it in this context. When I met y'all first, right, I don't have an impression of y'all, if that makes sense.
Okay, let's further dissect this. When you first met us, right, what did you observe?
Nothing.
No, what do you observe? Can be anything. Not I'm
honestly,
not asking for your judgment, you know.
No. Really nothing. And I have a reason why. Because I'm the kind of character where I don't know what's happening around me.
That I know.
Yeah.
You know, exactly. That is the truth. Like,
we know you're
I really don't. No. That is the serious truth. Like, it's a bomb. It's a true bomb. But I really don't know what's happening around me. That's why I like. என்னை சுத்தி என்னடா இருக்குன்னு எனக்கு சத்தியமா தெரியாது. And by the time I realize it, right, it will be like 2 to 3 times after we meet constantly, you know. Then I'll be like, oh, okay.
So
இவனும் என்ன மாதிரி
3
funny-ஆ
times
இருக்கான்.
later நீ நம்மளை மீட் பண்ணும்போது உனக்கு ஒரு இம்ப்ரெஷன் வந்துச்சு தானே?
Like same kind of group lah, in that sense.
Yeah,
like we are I know we are the same.
You would have noticed something.
Yeah. In context நான் என்ன சொல்ல வரேன்னா, first impression வந்து மொதவாட்டி பார்க்கிறது ஒரு first impression, but the real first impression I had of y'all, அந்த contextல படி பார்த்தாக்கா, it's like after a few times I met y'all. Do I make sense? So it's not the first time I met y'all.
Okay.
Like, you know, because theoretically first impression would imply like when you meet the person first time. You get what I mean?
It can be something as small as
In
a
general,
photo.
Yeah, that's why in general, it'd be the first time I see this person.
So பாரத்ல இருந்து
could
பாரத்
be.
சொல்றதுல இருந்து what
I
my first thought வந்து it goes against like tens and thousands of years of மனித வரலாறு because
yeah, I actually
yeah
disagree with
yeah because
with what Bharat says because right, it's a
Mhm.
proven fact that people form first impressions. It is
I don't know.
you
Either-
can
Mhm.
say that in my opinion, I have to completely rebut your argument and statement because there can be two
Mhm.
explanations to this. Number one, you're not aware that you're forming a first impression, and that happens a lot.
Mhm.
One
how I was
reason behind that could be that you're very self-involved. I'm not making this this is not a tag or anything, but you could be very self-involved, meaning that when you're meeting someone, you're more concerned about how you are presenting yourself rather than how you are taking them in.
That is also not true because you are. I think this one you all know that I can't give a shit how I look in front of everybody.
That itself is the way you're presenting yourself.
Mm-mm.
You're
You
presenting yourself as the heck care guy who doesn't give a shit.
yeah, like okay, for
Which is
example, நீ வந்து முத தடவை நம்மள மீட் பண்ணும்போது இந்த மாதிரி attitude, for example நீ வரையில like heck அப்படி இருந்தேன்னா people might think you are bochap. That's one. Bochap means don't care.
No,
that is
no. But you see, like what Jawar is saying is how other people can perceive you. And the reason he's going about that is saying that since in two different contexts you are presenting two different sides of yourself, meaning you are self-monitoring.
That's what I'm trying to say. You are more
which probably I'm not aware of.
yourself.
Yeah, because Bharat, it's,
Really, I'm not
it's
aware.
a fact. We are social beings. That's number one.
yes
Meaning that we do react to how people perceive us, and we do react to other people. So, and it's also a fact that we are not always aware of our first impressions. We are not when upon meeting someone, நம்ம வந்து என்னமோ நோட் எடுக்கிறது இல்லை. ஓ இவன் பார்த்த உடனே எனக்கு இதான் என் first impression. அதெல்லாம் போக போக தான் over time you'll recollect thoughts. Like for example, me and you, our context was that a friend Rachel, who has been on the podcast la வந்திருக்காங்க பின்னாடி, she already made us aware that we both existed. And at that point, when she told each other about us, we would have made an impression because the way she told me about you is that you and I are very similar. That's
So
what she told me.
that's when the first impression started lah.
Yeah. She's
okay.
saying, oh, this guy, he also love football. Or that. Then I was like, oh, okay. Then okay lah. I thought maybe can be a friend or bro. So I would have thought, at that point, this is the way she portrayed you to me is that நீ வந்து ஒரு potential close friend. So that itself led to a favorable impression in my mind, you see.
Yeah, that's why.
இதை பத்தி நான் யோசிப்பேன். No, it makes sense. So another truth bomb here. I don't. Probably it's just me not being aware that I'm actually self-monitoring. To be very honest.
Based on what you're saying, hypothesis is that you're more of a self-monitor. If for those who don't understand the self-monitor term, right, அதுக்கு அர்த்தம் என்னன்னா basically you are very cautious or you put a lot of thought into how you present yourself to other people. So you there are different levels to this. You can be a high self-monitor or a low self-monitor. High self-monitor, now you think about every statement you make, your body posture, your facial expression, everything. You really want to present, you want to make wise decisions and you're very aware of how you're presenting yourself. That is the ultimate high level. Low is, I wouldn't say heck care, but you are not aware. And you're just going with the flow.
You are. What about you, da?
என்ன கேட்டா, I do form first impressions and I always make it a rule to try not to stick to my first impressions until I interact with the people. So if let's say I meet a person and I have a bad first impression, I just leave it as it is and I don't label them as இவங்க கெட்டவங்க அந்த மாதிரி. If I have a bad first impression and I don't talk to you again, you are just a person to me. I don't think you are a bad person to me. And as opposed to if let's say I meet a person and poga we talk more, I am open to taking in and judging the person based on my interactions and my experiences with them rather than sticking to my first impression.
So நீ வாட் யூ சேயிங் இஸ் நீ ஃபர்ஸ்ட் இம்ப்ரெஷன் நீ ஃபார்ம் பண்ணுவ, பட் அந்த ஃபர்ஸ்ட் இம்ப்ரெஷன் வச்சு நீ அந்த தாட்ஸ் வர மாதிரி you won't act on them, right?
No, because I have had several cases, right, where now and I have met a lot of people, right, and they actually struck me wrong the first moment I spoke to them. I had a feeling like we cannot hit it off. I had a feeling that we cannot hit it off. Like, okay, like அவங்க starting ready, they speak to me like very bluntly or not. I'm not that type, you see. So I thought again, இந்த மாதிரி மூஞ்சில அடிச்ச மாதிரி பேசுறான். And if let's say I was in a bad mood when they were talking like that, it could have led to a lot of friction. And there have been cases like that. So started off on a very sour note. And poga, the more I converse with them, and the more I realize is they are just people who are like that. They like to talk blunt, but they don't have any malice behind it, which doesn't make them a bad person, you see. But in the மாதிரி people, you need time to go and actually have a conversation with them and know that they don't have any bad intentions and they're just speaking their mind without filters. You see? So if I stuck to my first judgment, which is that they are bad people, I would have never got to know these people for who they are, who are good people, who are honest people.
என்னை பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் பேசிக்லி ரைட் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் இம்ப்ரெஷன் ஃபார்முலேட் பண்ணுறதுங்கிறது இட்ஸ் அப் டு த பர்சன். நான் இந்த கான்டெக்ட் என்ன சொல்கிறேன்னா, லைக் I would say I started paying attention to how, like, when I'm with my friends and all that, I'm not aware, as earlier mentioned, but I started paying attention to how I should be like when I started working, if that makes sense. ஏன்னா நான் என் ஃப்ரெண்ட் சர்க்கிளில் இருக்கிற மாதிரி நான் வேற இடத்துலையும் இருக்க முடியாது. ஸோ யா, என்னோட கேள்வி என்னன்னா, does this matter to y'all? வேலை இடத்துல எப்படி இருக்கும் இல்லை, யூனோ, லைக் பிகாஸ் I'm pretty sure like நம்ம லைக் இப்போ நம்ம வந்து இப்போ குஃபியாக இருக்கோம், யூனோ, அண்ட் ஆல் தட். அதே மாதிரி நம்ம விளையாடத்துல வந்து இருக்கலாம், பட் ஒரு லெவலோட இருக்கலாம். ஸோ லைக் ஹஸ் திஸ் சேஞ்ச் யூர், லைக் எப்படி உங்களை மாற்றிருக்கு, இல்லை ஐ ஆல் கான்ஷியஸ் அபவுட் திஸ்? பிகாஸ் ஐ திங்க் ஐ எம், டு பி ஆனஸ்ட், ஐ திங்க் ஐ எம். ஸோ ஜவர், மேபி உனக்கு
நீ சொன்னில வேலை இடத்துல நம்ம வந்து வந்து போய் உட்காந்து we cannot goof around and stuff, and we are now goofing around because we are friends. But it's an untold taboo that when we go to work, we have to be at our utmost behavior, and we are not with our friends. We have known them. We are knowing them because they are work colleague. So our first impression when we go to work already, இவங்க கூட நம்ம வேலை தான் பார்க்க போறோம், and I don't think we are going to make a good friend. We are not going to give them the opportunity yet. That is our first impression going to the working this one. And second of all, when we start working, we need to also realize that this person is going to be the one we're going to present our work with, or we're going to work in hand with, or we might have disagreement with. All this is going to be playing in the back of our mind, and that is why we will never goof around at workplace until we are settled there. You see, every time you enter the workplace, there's this thing called probation period, where you will like go through everything, you know, the first month probation shit is all these are the reason behind whatever I'm saying. The probation is the reason, because of all this mentality. After that, yeah, you will loosen up lah, but I don't think you will loosen up like you will goof around all the time.
Yeah, I agree with Java actually. நான் வேலை செய்கிற இண்டஸ்ட்ரி வந்து பேங்கிங் இண்டஸ்ட்ரிலாம், நான் வேலை செய்கிற இண்டஸ்ட்ரியில் வந்து இந்த மாதிரி லைக் கூஃபியாக இருக்கிறது, பீயிங் யோர் செல்ஃப், ஒரு ஜாலியாக இருக்கிறது வந்து அந்த வாய்ப்புலாம் எனக்கு இல்லை. ஸோ மேக்ஸிமம் 90% டைம் நான் இன்டராக்ட் பண்ணுறது வந்து கம்ப்யூட்டர் கூட, என்னோட மை டெஸ்க்டாப். காலீக்ஸ் கூட இன்டராக்ட் பண்ணுறது வந்து இஸ் லைக் ரொம்ப ப்ரொஃபஷனல் பேசிஸ். ஸோ அண்ட் ஆல்சோ இந்த ப்ரொஃபஷனல் மேனை இன்டராக்ட் பண்ணுறது நான் என்னோட ஜாலியான ஒரு லைக் மை பர்சனாலிட்டி வந்து நான் கொஞ்சம் கட்டுப்படுத்துகிறேன். பிகாஸ் there is ஒரு பயன் இல்லை, பட் ஒரு ஐ கேன் சே there is this ஒரு காஸ்டன் இருக்கு. ஓகே, நான் அவ்வளோவா நான் லைக் ஜோக் லைக் கரெக்ட் பண்ணக்கூடாது. If not, they will get the wrong impression of me. So I mean, don't take it wrong. It's still a fun place to work, nice colleagues, but உன்னோட ட்ரூ செல்ஃப் காமிக்கிறது அந்த காஷன் உங்ககிட்ட இருக்கும். ஸோ யா, யூ டூ மேக் an effort to give that first impression. Because நான் இந்த கம்பெனி சேர்ந்தது வந்து இட்ஸ் குவைட் நியூ. new lah, like almost 1 year already, so still relatively new. So அந்த ஃபர்ஸ்ட் இம்ப்ரெஷன் காட்டுற அந்த ஸ்டேஜ்ல இருக்கேன்னு சொல்லலாம். ஸோ யா, நீ ஜாலியா இருக்கிறது வந்து ஒரு டேக் a slow process lah. It depends on how long you stay the company. Yeah, Yuva, what about you?
Wait, before I give my opinion, right, I actually have one thing to refute, like Jawar சொன்னதுல. Like he said that we monitor a lot about the way we present ourselves, cost of probation. I don't think it's cost of probation.
Sorry, I think I've said my sentence structure was wrong. It's not because of probation. I think the probation period is because நம்மலாம் இந்த மாதிரிலாம் இந்த மைண்ட் செட்லாம் ஓடும்ல, அந்த probation period நம்ம இதெல்லாம் யோசிக்க போகல, we will be more careful. That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay. So if regardless, if let's say your contract didn't have a probation period,
Regardless,
the first few months you will still be like that lah.
yeah, we will definitely be like that. I personally will be like that.
Yeah, that's my அதான் நானும் சொல்ல வந்தேன். Okay, so என் எக்ஸ்பீரியன்ஸ்ல இருந்து is I am similar to you all in the sense that I am not 100% myself ஒரு வேலை இடத்துல when I first joined. அதுக்கு காரணம் என்னன்னா, the jokes I make and my sense of humor requires you to get to know me before you can understand my jokes. Because நான் சொல்ற jokes எல்லாம் is more context based or previous history based or common interest based. So இந்த மாதிரி jokes சொல்ல I need to, like I said, establish a history, find out common interest, and then only I can express that side of myself. So it's not like I am not holding back in fear of a bad impression of me. I am holding back because there isn't enough opportunity for me to be myself fully. So நான் என்ன compromise செஞ்சிருக்கேன்னா, because this one I just now speaking about high monitor, low self monitor, right? So I am a high self monitor. So நான் என்ன பண்ணேன்னா, I didn't want to monitor myself to an extent where I present myself as someone completely different. I wanted to present myself as someone who is very accurate to my true nature. So what I did was I'll present myself as true as I can. Energy level, body language, content, tone of voice, அதெல்லாம் I try to keep it consistent. But it's just as we go on, I just get more comfortable adding sense of humor into the relationship. That's the only thing I do lah with regards to work. So வேலை இடத்துல what happens all the while is that it takes me a few months to build proper friendships, but I can build good colleague relationships when I enter already. But it'll take a few months for them to get to know me properly lah. And it's always a fact that I get close with என் பக்கத்துல உட்கார்ந்திருக்கவங்க கிட்ட தான். This happens in most places lah, because அவங்க கிட்ட தான் ரொம்ப பேசுவோம். And நான் வந்து வேலை செய்யும்போது தான் we have like memes coming up, especially on Facebook and stuff. So we end up sharing memes with our colleagues, like next neighboring colleagues and all that. So because of that, you get a shared sense of humor.
மீம்லாம் பார்த்து நீ உன்னை செருப்பால யாரும் அடிக்கல?
But that's the thing. That's what all my friends want to do to me. So I'm being true to myself.
So இல்லை, because a point that you need to take note here, right? நம்ம colleagues வந்து, to be honest, we spend a lot of time with our colleagues
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, we do.
compared to home, compared to friends, honestly. So
Yeah, okay, you can say that lah. ஆனா
To a certain extent.
quality time no, not quality
Yeah.
time.
அதுதான்
Yeah.
it's not quality time.
Not quality.
இது வந்து quality timeனு சொல்ல மாட்டேன். பட் I mean இப்போ சுச்சுவேஷன் வேற இல்லை. ஏன்னா சில பேர் வந்து வீட்ல இருந்து வேலை செய்வாங்க, சில பேர் வந்து ஆஃபீஸ் இல்லாம, like it's different now. But before COVID happened, நம்ம வந்து a good part of our 24 hours is spent in the office.
So one thing நான் வந்து like going back to what you guys said, right? நான் வந்து என் மொத வேலைக்கு போகும்போது, the one that I entered after graduating, right? I went into the office, right, and I never gave my ex-colleagues an opportunity to become my friends, because அங்க போகும்போது I label them as, okay, இவங்க என் colleagues, I have to be professional, I have to present myself well. So அதனால I never I already limited and closed off any possible friendships with them, any possible strong relationships with them, because I already went with that notion, you see. So adinale, the first impression they had of me and I had of them was, I think I can safely say that it's strictly professional. They don't know me. They know me as a generic guy who was very diplomatic. So in a way, I do have one regret in the sense that I didn't get to know the people they were, because when I look back at it in retrospect, right, they seem like very good people, you see.
Okay. Just because they seem to be very good people, உனக்கு அந்த regret இருந்துச்சு.
Yeah.
You see, that's also a first impression. That's also a first impression. The first impression you have of them, they seem to be a
Yeah.
very good person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Correct.
And
They
over
do.
my time with them also, they did seem to be like a very good people lah. So it's one thing lah. It's just a note lah. If anybody is going into a workforce or anything, I think the most important takeaway so far from number பேசியிருக்கிற content is that you need to give people a chance.
இல்ல ஒரு கேள்வி இருந்துச்சு. Like I wanted to ask all of you this question. Like யுவா சொல்லிட்டு இருந்தாரு like
மரியாதை maintain.
ஏய், சரி, உனக்கு அவனை விட கழுத வயசாயிருச்சுடா. அவனை போய் வா.
நீ யுவாவுக்கு தம்பி மாதிரி சி அண்ணன் மாதிரிடா.
oh my god.
அப்படி சொல்லிட்டு இருந்தீங்க.
இல்ல this யுவா புண்டை was telling
Well done, well done.
கொஞ்ச நேரத்துல ஸ்ட்ரெஸ் ஆகிட்டா.
இல்ல sorry, before you go ahead, right? You are நீ வந்து first impression பத்தி பேசிட்டு இருந்தல, like you know how you formulate, like you got to close. Actually, that's how you met Sharif, right? It's based on some YouTube.
No, Sharif when I meet பண்ணது was தற்செயல். So my first impression of him was literally when I saw him.
இல்ல, not a first impression of him, like it was because of like a YouTube.
Yeah.
So that's how you all, because நீ முதல்ல சொல்லிட்டு இருந்தியா, you only get closer to people like when talking about colleagues, you only get closer to people when
content.
they know that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's
I
because of
think
the
it
same
helped.
content.
Like, okay, if you look at Nano and Sharif எனக்கும் இருக்கிற friendship, right, is I would say in an adult situation, I think we got close pretty quickly. I think in the span of 1 year, I met you in 2014, right?
July 2014.
டேய் என்னடா ரொமான்ஸ் எல்லாத்துக்கு போயிட்ட?
Wowடா.
தேதி, time, எல்லாத்தையும் எழுதி
தேதி time நட்சத்திரம்.
இல்ல ஏன்னு like ஞாபகம் இருக்கு.
Your YD time, right?
Yeah, YD time.
No.
That's the time I ended my NS.
So at that time, yeah, we got close pretty fast. I think like we met. Then after that, we started hanging out in my whole group with my other friends. So it was pretty fast. So I think, to be honest, நான் இப்ப யோசிச்சு பார்த்தா, I think the similar content that we interact with could have helped, because the sort of content that we interact with, right, you know that only certain type of people will watch that content.
You'll also accept that kind of content. Right?
Yeah, because it's either you find it funny or you find it so stupid that you close the tab.
Mm-hmm.
I found it funny lah.
Yeah, so I think we can be friends because of that.
Anyway,
இப்பதான்
Sharif,
தோணுச்சா?
நீ கேள்வி கேட்க.
இல்ல you was telling because இந்த செல்ஃப் மானிட்டரிங் சிச்சுவேஷன் வச்சு சில people வந்து they will take it over the limit. So over the limit வந்து they start to fake their whole personality. So a few words based on that lah from you guys.
Okay, so I can just kick it off here because now I used to be one of those people who did that. I didn't present myself properly. I presented what I think I wanted people to see me as, but that didn't need to do justice to who I was.
Mm-hmm.
So if I want you to see me as some funny guy, I'll go out of my way to be funny. If I want you to see me as a serious guy, I'll go out of my way to look extra serious. Either younger time, like teenage time, late teenhood, that time, like the 15 to 19 years old time period.
You're exploring yourself lah, that kind of that period.
Yeah. So valara, you actually realize that it doesn't do justice to who you are. And at the same time, you're not going to let people know you. And as a result, you're not going to build any relationships, which is important. So
Long term, you won't build any meaningful
yeah, you won't
relationships.
build
lah.
anything. And even if, let's say, you do portray an amplified or misleading first impression, right? And people like that first impression. Moving forward, you're gonna have to match that subconsciously. You will want to match that.
Mental energy வந்து ரொம்ப ரொம்ப எடுக்கும்.
Drain ஆயிரும்,
இந்த
டேய்,
will
then
drain you a lot.
yeah. So you need to monitor, think. Then it's unnatural already. Then you will delay the time that you open yourself up even more.
Yeah, true.
So now that we're actually talking about first impressions and self-monitoring, I actually have one question to ask you guys.
Yes.
How good would you say that you are at judging other people according to your first impression?
Honestly speaking, I'm not kidding. 90% of the time I don't go wrong.
Okay.
Were you wrong with the three of us?
That's why you all no lah. Actually no. All of y'all I predicted correctly and it turned out correctly. So it's okay. How about Sharif? Sharif is like wait, Sharif and how about Barif?
He
Yeah.
don't even know he's making first impression. What
Yeah,
was it?
exactly.
Yeah. So I cannot answer this question
You
technically.
just shut
Unless
up and
Hey,
go with-
unless the context is right, the first impression I make after a few times,
Okay,
then
we can get to that later. But at that point, your impression would have already been accurate, more or less.
yeah,
Unless you are
exactly my
complete
point.
idiot lah.
which he is
But
lah.
you are. So let's just keep you entirely. So Sharif,
Fuck you. போங்கடா.
அதுக்கே இந்த
For me,
சாக்கு பேசிருக்க.
எனக்கு வந்து like இந்த judgment பண்றது is very hit and miss lah. சில வாட்டி வந்து you'll be accurate, சில வாட்டி you'll be very I'll be totally wrong. But in the as I get older, what I tend to do is in the first impression, I'll take note. I won't say not say I will never give first impression. What I'll do is I'll take note. அதுல இருந்து நான் அந்த பர்சனோட இந்த ஆளோட லைக் சின்ன non-verbal behavior, சின்ன mannerisms, I'll take note and then I'll like try to form a broader perspective of why he or she may be doing that kind of things lah. So அதுல இருந்து like எனக்கு தெரியும், I'll try ஒரு comparison பண்ணுவேன் my first impression with the current impression I have. So நான் சொன்ன மாதிரி 50-50 it's very 50-50. சில instance வந்து you'll be very off, சில instance will be almost very accurate lah. So yeah, I've been wrong a lot of times, but yeah. So usually first impression வந்து I won't usually have that much of a long it won't last long for me.
You know, just now you said current impressions, right? I heard it as curry impressions.
சாப்பாடு இல்லைதா.
and you know, going off, actually, I have a point to add regarding one of our previous statements last. Like, again, I'm going back to that monitor thing, the high self monitor thing. I realized that Salapiri, like yang case, since we're talking about like how accurate our first impressions are, right? என்னால சொல்ல முடியாது whether my first impressions of people were accurate, and there's a reason to it. It's because for example, I mentioned I'm a high self-monitor, which means that I am more self-involved with regards to actions and mannerisms and my portrayal of myself. I want it to be as accurate to my personality as possible so that I can just be myself and just be a little bit more mindful about my words lah. So at that time, because I am so in thought, so analytical about how I am going about things, my impression of people is not as in-depth and not as impactful. So it's a very touch and go impression that doesn't need to be right or wrong, because it doesn't have any like judgments to it. It's more vibe based, and yeah, it's more vibe based and seeing whether you look like a happy person. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's not like, oh, this person will be very serious, will be put off by joke, you cannot joke with all this. I don't go that in depth upon my first impression. So with regards to being right or wrong, it doesn't apply as much to me because I don't really judge these things in the first impression in the first place.
I see. You were saying,
Yeah.
நீ சொல்லிட்டு இருந்த like you have some kind of stats that you wanted to share with
Yeah,
the
I wanted to
listeners.
share. So basically, right, some things that like studies show with regards to comms and all that is the first impression. There are a few factors that determine your first impression and how people perceive you. So, for example, 55% of people judge your first impression by நீங்க போட்டிருக்கிற துணி, the way you behave, like the way you act, the way you stand, your body posture, all that, and the way you like walk through the door.
Walk through the door.
Walk through the door.
Or like, or the entrance lah, the entrance, and
Yeah,
then you
enter lah.
Okay.
38% will judge you based on your voice, your grammar, and your sense of confidence. Set grammar, yeah.
ஐயோ
Yeah. So and then 7% is your choice of words.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
So if you guys wanna like யாராவது are curious about what are the factors behind your first impression, behind forming a first impression or giving a first impression, and these are some of the things that contribute. Studies show.
You are according to your studies, right? நீ அந்த stats சொன்னியே. Recently,
அவன் studies பண்ணலடா. He found the study.
I mean, he found the studies. The stats சொன்னில. According to the stats, right? It is true, you know. Last week, this same thing happened. So there was this guy coming into my house to meet my dad and sign some forms. And I told my dad, okay, because it's like some important insurance documents, and I wanted him to present himself better lah. So because we're going out after that, and I told him, okay, you wear properly and wear your watch and stuff. I got him to wear his Rolex and stuff. Do you believe it? The fella entered the house. He shook hand with my dad. The minute he shake hand, the first conversation they both had was like about the Rolex. The guy straight away talk about his Rolex. And like you said, there are the 58% they see what you wear. It is true. And the stats is trustable. That's what I'm trying to say lah.
So I got a fun question for you guys. How long do you think it takes us to assess someone's face?
Immediate. I see the person, I look at their face, and like
Time. Give me a number.
5 seconds.
Sharif?
8 seconds.
8 seconds. Bharaf?
0.81 seconds.
I think not a 0.8.
0.8. So it's like okay.
0.1
81 milliseconds.
So 80% of a second lah.
81 milliseconds lah.
81 milliseconds is fucking
That
fast.
doesn't make sense, what?
தெரியலடா ஏதோ நம்பர் தெரியலடா தெரியலன்னு சொல்றதுக்கு பதிலா 0.81 சொல்ல வேண்டியது.
Correct answer is 0.1 seconds.
Hey, I was the closest to the number.
0.1 seconds.
I was the closest.
Not even 1 second.
That's how fast you will get to
How
react.
fast do you form a first impression?
Do you trust
0.1. Yeah.
Yeah, if okay, I want
maybe
to think through this.
now after
Yeah.
you tell me that, right, I need to now like keep that in mind.
Because we're literally talking about first impression, no. Like we're not talking about looking at them, oh, this person pretty, oh, this person handsome, oh, this person look like very fierce. Those take time to come, but looking and feeling something and assessing, that is done immediately. I know sometimes you turn already watch, but this fellow look like nah, like
I know one Nabi was sitting down wearing white long sleeves, sitting down on the table.
Wait. So நம்ம வந்து இன்னைக்கு நம்ம ஸ்டாட்ஸை பத்தி பேசியாச்சு, ஃபர்ஸ்ட் இம்ப்ரெஷன் ஸ்டாட்ஸை பத்தி, and then the high maintenance, low maintenance அதை பத்தி பேசணும். Like, you know, we covered a few aspects of this. Even I myself found out I'm actually making first impressions without me knowing myself. It's a true revelation. But in the question வந்து I need to ask you all, have you all ever regretted? அப்பனா நீங்க ஏதாச்சும் like regret பண்ணிருக்கீங்களா first impression meet பண்ணி? Has there been ever a point where you all regretted? இல்லையே இந்த மாதிரி ஃபர்ஸ்ட் இம்ப்ரெஷன் தப்பு பண்ணியிருக்கோமே, மன உரை லைக் மனசுக்கு அப்படியே குத்திக்கிட்டு இருந்துச்சா? ஜவர் ஆன்சர்.
நீ கேட்டியே, have I ever regretted about my first impression? I will say no, because that is what I am, and I'm entitled to whatever first impression I have. I cannot be regretting what I feel about what I feel. So I don't.
Sharif?
For me personally, never. Because நான் regret பண்ண விஷயம் வந்து okay, சில சில பர்சன் மீட் பண்றது நான் ரிக்ரெட் பண்றேன். பட் ஹைண்ட்சைட்ல பார்த்தா இந்த இந்த பீப்புள் இந்த இந்த இவங்களை மீட் பண்றதுக்கு ஒரு காரணம் இருந்துச்சு. அந்த அந்த எக்ஸ்பீரியன்ஸ் வச்சு has made me the person I am today. So regretsக்கு பதிலா I can say I can learn my lesson lah.
You are?
No, I don't regret it because now a few minutes ago I சொன்ன மாதிரி first impression is not very in depth and it's usually very neutral, like 99.9% of the time. So I have nothing to நான் ஒரு impression அவ்வளவா செஞ்சது இல்ல. In the future I need to prove myself wrong. So yeah, no, I will say no lah.
பரஃப் ஆன்சர் பண்ணாதே, ஏன்னா உனக்கு எதுவும் தெரியாது.
First impression இல்லையே, நீ ஒரு மரமாச்சே.
ஒரு மரம்
அதுக்கு பிரைமரி ஸ்கூல்ல பேர் சொல்ல கொங்கொங்னு. Okay, so before we wrap up, let's just end it off with a quick funny section. So what are some of the funniest first impressions that you've heard people had of you? Let's start with Barif.
This one I have a lot.
Funniest
This one I have a lot. People say I quite fierce. legit. என்ன போய் ஒரு நல்ல கோவக்கார, ஒரு நல்ல மொரட்டு, ரொம்ப ரஃப் அண்ட் டஃப் கேரக்டர்னு people think
ஆடி வளர்த்த மாதிரி இருந்துகிட்டு உடனே
அது இன்னொரு ஆடு சொல்லுது பாடு கொய்யால.
ஐயோ,
நான் அதை கேட்டோன்னா நான் அப்படியே ஷாக் ஆயிட்டேன்.
ஷரீஃப்,
ஐயோ கொன்னா கலாய்ப்பீங்களே, வேணாண்டா
சொல்லுடா
கலாய்ப்பா.
ஓகே, ஒன் பர்சன் என்கிட்ட சொல்லியிருக்கா, you first impression lah that I look like Portuguese.
டேய் இவா, இந்த கேள்வி கேட்டதுக்கு ஒண்ணே தான் சர்பால் அடிக்கணும்.
இவா இல்ல இரு. Can we please name the person who called you Portuguese?
Portuguese ektat.
No. Portuguese shit maybe, but yes, can we name the person?
I thought it's a girl lah last time. You want to know how long ago இது MSN நடந்துச்சு? It was that long ago.
Maybe she didn't see Sharif face to face da.
ப்ரொஃபைல் பிக்சர் பாத்துறப்பா, யாரா first impression.
அதான் ப்ரொஃபைல் பிக்சர் போட்டுறப்பா, ரொனால்டோ பிக்சர் போட்டுறப்பாங்க.
ஜாவரே
மீயா
no.
பின்ன எத்தனை ஜாவரடா இருக்காங்க?
For me I always get the same impression lah. But there was one person, okay? It was Fazana's friend. She looked at me and she said, Jawhar பார்க்க ரொம்ப innocent boy-ஆ இருக்கு. Wow, I shocked Cinderis, yeah. I tell you. That was the first and the last time someone told me that.
அந்த ஃபசானா ஃப்ரெண்ட் இந்த பாட்காஸ்ட் கேட்டுட்டு இருந்தீங்கன்னா ப்ளீஸ் we need to have a real serious talk. really one real serious talk. We need to have a real serious talk.
தேவர் மகன், நீங்க நல்லவரா கெட்டவரா?
நீ பார்க்க விஷாலா நீ ஒரு நாள் if she told நீ பார்க்க விஷால் மாதிரி இருக்கேன்னு சொல்லிருந்தா I could have believed at least. But not innocent all lah.
யாருடா உன்கிட்ட என்ன சொன்னா?
Why விஷால்?
No, I just telling you.
Why விஷால்?
I don't know lah, just you random actor point in my head.
யாரா உன் தலையில ஒண்ணுமே இல்ல, முடிதான் கொண்டது.
Like Sharif, you look like Portuguese. You look like Portuguese.
Okay, you
My one had funny story da. Now the first impression 20 minutes late damage ஆகிட்டேன்டா. So இது வந்து 2014 நடந்துச்சு. This was when I was like at my biggest lah, like muscle wise. So I look a bit intimidating, like தாடி எல்லாம் வச்சுக்கிட்டு. So I went to this friend on a birthday party. Then I entered there. I thought I entered normally only. Then we playing games all. Then I didn't know how to play the game, so I made a fool of myself like 20 minutes like. Then this girl come and tell me, நான் பேசினதே இல்லை தெரியுமா இதுக்கு முன்னாடி. She come and tell me, உன்னை முதல்ல பார்த்த போது நான் என்னமோ வெரி ஃபேஸ் டெரர்னு பார்த்தேன், ஆனா 20 minutes கழிச்சு பிறகுதான் தெரியுது நீ ஒரு காமெடி பீஸ்னு. I only see her for 20 minutes in my life. இந்த மாதிரி சொல்லுது, அதுக்குள்ள டேமேஜ் ஆக்கிட்டேடா. தேங்க்யூ
That is worst case scenario. At least she didn't say you look like Brazilian.
சான்ஸே இல்ல. அதெல்லாம் பிரேசிலுக்கு தான் பெருமை.
இதோட இந்த podcast முடிச்சுக்கோண்டா. என்னால முடியலடா.
Yeah, anyway, we hope this topic was. We wanted to make the content a bit more like informative this week also. So yeah, just let us know if you guys have any other topic suggestions or in the மாதிரி topic directionல போறது உங்களுக்கு எல்லாம் பிடிச்சிருந்தா let us know. So we'll try to keep producing such content also. So yeah, in the meantime,
And maybe actually drop in the comments நம்மளோட first impression. இத கேட்டு உங்க first impression of us. What was it?
That would be very interesting.
True.
So please drop in the comments, drop in the DMs, anything.
If anybody want to be a special guest, go ahead. Just drop us an email. Email is there. Insta message.
So yeah, that being said, like Joel said, feel free to reach out to us. And regardless, hope you enjoyed, hope you learned, hope you had a good laugh, and we look forward to hearing from you and having you join us in the next episode. Nandri,
See you guys.
vanakkam.
Bye.
பட போச்சே.